It was the kind of cold that bites through skin and settles in your bones. At the bus stop on Maple Street, children huddled together like penguins, their breath forming tiny clouds in the frozen morning air. Some wore jackets so thin you could see the outline of their shirts underneath. Others had nothing but hoodies with holes at the elbows. Mrs. Sarah Mitchell noticed everything. She'd been teaching third grade for 7 years at Lincoln Elementary, a school where most families were just trying to survive. And Sarah? She understood that struggle intimately. Her own paycheck barely covered rent. Her car was 15 years old with a cracked windshield she couldn't afford to fix. Last night's dinner had been ramen noodles, again. But none of that stopped her heart from breaking when she saw little Marcus shivering in just a long-sleeve shirt, his lips turning blue, or Emma drowning in her older brother's torn hoodie that hung past her knees.
Or the Rodriguez twins, taking turns wearing the one coat their mother could afford, switching every other day. Parents apologized at pickup with shame in their eyes. "We'll get one soon, I promise." The school's heating system kept breaking down, leaving classrooms ice cold by afternoon. That evening, Sarah sat alone at her desk long after the janitor had left. She pulled up her credit card statement on her phone, already near the limit. She did the math anyway. $50 per coat, 30 students who needed them, $1,500 total. She couldn't afford this. She absolutely shouldn't do this. But Marcus's blue lips haunted her. Her hands trembled as she clicked purchase. Tears blurred her vision as the confirmation screen appeared. Tomorrow, 30 children would have winter coats, and Sarah Mitchell would have debt she had no plan to repay. 3 days later, the delivery truck arrived at Sarah's apartment building.
The driver looked confused as he stacked box after box in her tiny living room. 30 winter coats took up every inch of floor space, stacked nearly to the ceiling. Her apartment looked like a warehouse. That night, Sarah worked by lamplight, her fingers numb from cold. She kept her heat turned down to save money, breath visible even indoors, while she prepared warmth for others. One by one, she removed price tags, folded each coat with care, and wrote personalized notes on index cards. "Stay warm, Marcus. You're special. Emma, you deserve this. For the Rodriguez twins, one for each of you." As she worked, memories flooded back. She was 8 years old again, wearing shoes with cardboard covering the holes, until Mrs. Patterson noticed and quietly bought her new ones. That single act of kindness changed everything. That's when Sarah decided someday she'd be that teacher for someone else. The credit card bill arrived the next morning. Minimum payment, $180.
She checked her bank account, $243 remaining. Groceries or gas, electricity or heat. The math didn't work anymore. But distribution day erased every doubt. Sarah arrived before sunrise, setting up a coat rack outside her classroom with a sign, "Free winter coats, take one." When students arrived, their reactions made her cry. Marcus hugged his coat like treasure. Emma sobbed happy tears. Parents in the pickup line wept, thanking her over and over. Then the loudspeaker crackled. "Mrs. Mitchell, please report to Principal Harris's office immediately." Sarah's blood ran cold. Was she in trouble? The walk to the principal's office felt like the longest hallway of Sarah's life. Her mind raced with panic. Did I violate school policy? Will I get written up? What if I lose my job? She couldn't afford to lose this job. Not now. Not with $1,500 of debt hanging over her head. Principal Harris was waiting.
Margaret Harris, stern, by the book, not exactly known for warmth. Sarah had seen teachers cry after meetings with her. She sat down across from the principal's desk, hands folded tightly in her lap, bracing for criticism. "Mrs. Mitchell," Principal Harris began, her voice measured, "I need to ask you about these winter coats. Where did they come from?" Sarah's throat tightened. I bought them. How much did this cost you? $1,500. Sarah's voice cracked. I used my credit card. I know I probably should have asked permission first, but I just couldn't watch them freeze anymore. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause problems. Tears welled up. She waited for the reprimand. Instead, Principal Harris's expression softened. She slid a manila folder across the desk. Sarah opened it with shaking hands. Inside were printed emails from parents, a local news inquiry, and a Facebook post screenshot. A parent had photographed the coats and shared Sarah's story.
50,000 shares overnight. Messages of gratitude flooded the comments. "Sarah, you're not in trouble," Principal Harris said quietly, "but you need to see something." She turned her computer screen around. A GoFundMe page. Goal: reimburse Sarah Mitchell's $1,500. Current amount: $0. Sarah's heart sank. It was a sweet gesture, but Principal Harris clicked refresh. The number on the screen: $47,832. Sarah gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. That can't be real. It's real, Principal Harris said softly. In less than 24 hours. Donors from across the country, teachers from other states, complete strangers moved by her sacrifice. Sarah scrolled through the comments, tears streaming down her face. Teachers shouldn't have to do this, but thank God for ones who do. I was that cold kid once, paying it forward. $100 from a retired teacher who gets it. But it wasn't just money.
Local news wanted to interview her. The superintendent called personally to thank her. 3 other schools in neighboring districts started coat drives inspired by her story. Then Principal Harris delivered the biggest news. "Sarah, the school board met this morning. They're creating the Sarah Mitchell Emergency Student Fund, a permanent resource so teachers never have to use credit cards for basic student needs again." Sarah broke down completely, ugly crying, disbelief. Her small act had created systemic change. "There's more," Principal Harris continued. "The district is paying off your credit card immediately. The PTA is giving you a $500 grocery gift card. And a local car dealership saw the post about your 15-year-old car. They're offering you a lease at cost." Sarah shook her head, overwhelmed. "I don't care about any of that. The kids are warm. That's all that mattered." When she returned to her classroom, 30 handmade thank you cards covered her desk. Crayon drawings, misspelled words, pure love. For the first time in years, Sarah Mitchell felt truly wealthy. 6 months later, winter returned to Lincoln Elementary, but everything had changed. Sarah's classroom was thriving. The Sarah Mitchell Emergency Student Fund had helped over 200 kids across the district. Shoes, glasses, school supplies, winter clothes. 3 other teachers had been publicly honored for similar quiet sacrifices they'd been making for years, now finally recognized. Sarah herself remained exactly the same, still humble, still teaching with her whole heart, still driving that same 15-year-old car with the cracked windshield. She turned down the dealership's lease offer. "Give it to a family who needs it more," she told them. On a freezing December morning, Sarah stood at her classroom window watching students arrive at the bus stop. Every single child wore a warm winter coat. Not one was shivering. Not one had blue lips. Marcus waved up at her, grinning in his red puffer jacket. Emma twirled in her purple coat, laughing with friends. All because one teacher refused to look away. Here's the truth. One person's courage can spark a movement. Sarah didn't wait for permission to do good. She didn't wait for someone else to step up. She just acted. And when you act from pure love, the universe responds in ways you can't imagine. Know a teacher going above and beyond? Share their story. Know a kid in need? Be the one who helps. Because sometimes Warmth doesn't start with a government program or a massive organization. Sometimes it starts with one willing heart and a maxed-out credit card. Sarah watched her students play in the snow, their laughter rising like music. Finally, she was at peace.